Hi you guys, this is my how to get ready quickly and on a budget. I'm giving you Lanouxminous skin using some of my favorite drugstore brands. Honestly, if these products had luxury labels on them, we'd be paying a lot of money for them. So I put it on my face, I put it in my hair, and I made a tutorial so you guys can watch and save your money, honey. I hope you enjoy it and I hope you subscribe to my channel because there's so much more to come. Okay, so we are going to start with hair. I just got out of the shower a little bit ago. I've been letting it air dry. It's still pretty wet, but because my hair is thin, it will dry fairly quickly. Lightly damp is perfectly fine. I'm gonna start by using a mousse. This is the Pantene. This is a volumizing mousse. Just something to give it a little bit of grip that will hold the shape that you're about to create. So what you'll do is take a little bit of mousse in your hands, and you're just gonna kind of roughly put it throughout your hair. Ooh, I forgot how good Pantene smells. And you can just go through and brush it in your hair. You don't wanna put too much in, just a little bit. Or going to the other side, I'm using about this much. Ooh, that might be a little bit more than I wanted, but oh well. If you start off with dry hair, you can always take like a spray bottle and just kind of lightly get it damp too. So the reason I chose this hairstyle for getting ready on a budget is because you don't need any blow dryers, you don't need any curling irons, you just need wet hair, and honestly, you don't even need to use product. You can just set it with the water in your hair and it'll also style it. This look is very effortless. It's not going to be some va-va-voom look. It's just gonna make it look more done than it would if you were to air dry it. So I'm gonna section my hair. I have a lot of layers in here right now. Not because I want them, it's just what happens. So I'm just gonna kind of section it based on my layer. So this is like my top layer. So I'm gonna take this chunk of hair, I'm gonna brush the product through. You wanna make sure that you don't have any knots because the knots will dry and they're not gonna look good. So you want it to be as smooth as possible. So I'm gonna take this chunk of hair here and I'm just gonna lightly twist it. If you twist it too tight, you're gonna have very, very, very tight curls. So I'm gonna do this and I want it to be curled at the bottom. I don't want it to be too straight. So I'm just gonna grab it like this. This does not need to be perfect. And I'm going to just use a bobby pin, as you can see. And I'm just gonna go through and pin it like so. I'm gonna grab this chunk here then. It does not, none of this needs to be perfect. So it doesn't matter if one section is larger or smaller, it's okay because we're just kind of doing like a very effortless wave. We're gonna do this before we do our makeup because then while we do our makeup, this can set. Oh my gosh, my hair is making me wanna eat a donut. Don't they look like little donuts? I'm gonna go back here, take this chunk. I think I'm gonna do like 4 here and 4 on this side. As you can see, I'm twirling away from my face. I typically like to curl my hair away from my face because I think it just opens everything up and keeps your face looking nice and bright and more attention on your face. But with this style, you can go any way. You can put some turned in towards your face, away from your face. This is just how I prefer to do it. And you can see at the end how mine looks. And if you like it, then you can do what I did. Okay, really, truly, my hair smells so good. You know, the crazy thing is when I was in 8th grade and butterfly clips were a thing, do you guys remember butterfly clips? I used to do this in my hair and put butterfly clips to hold it. I thought I was so cool. I used to do like crazy hairstyles when I was a kid. I used to wear these big clip-in extensions onto my pony and people in school used to call me Mount Megan because my hair extension clips were as big as my head. I've been playing with my hair and my makeup my whole life. Go figure, it's my job now. Okay, I'm just gonna do one big chunk on this side because I'm getting a little impatient. Okay, so we have set it and let it. So now we are just gonna let this be. And while it is drying, we are going to do our makeup. on a budget. Okay, because we are doing this on a budget, I'm going to be using my hands for a lot of the application. There are a few brushes, I'll tell you what they are, but they're all drugstore brands. To start, we are going to be using the True Match foundation from L'Oreal. This foundation has been around for a very long time, and it is honestly like a go-to drugstore foundation for me. If I'm ever in a pinch on a desert and there's only CVS, this is what I'm gonna go buy. I love the finish. It's actually slightly similar to the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. It has a very flawless finish, and it's just kind of has like a velvety feel to it, but I feel like the color match is really great. It doesn't have any oils or fragrance. So this is when people are like, what's a good drugstore foundation? This has just always been what I say. I'm gonna shake it up. I'm gonna put a little on my finger like this, dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. And then I'll rub it in with my hands. Another reason why I love this foundation is because it's definitely buildable. It has like a very velvety feel. Like it doesn't feel heavy on the skin. It just lays very, very nicely. When I'm applying foundation, I'll just go right over my eyelid because there's so many blood vessels and veins that we have around our eyes. So naturally, our eyes are gonna be a little bit darker. Your lid's gonna be a little bit darker because there's so much going on. So I just like to neutralize it with foundation and concealer. The benefit of using your hands to apply foundation is because your hands are warm and it allows you to like really warm up the foundation, and so it just absorbs nicely into the skin. Once I have my foundation on, I just like to pat it. I don't know, it's in my head, but I think I'm like pushing it into my skin a little bit more. And like I said, it just kind of allows it to like sink in nicely. Maybe I made that up, but I do this. Kind of wakes your skin up too. As you can see, some of my like natural redness is coming through, which I like. Okay, so then for the concealer, I'm gonna go in, this is the HD Studio NYX concealer. I like this concealer because it's also buildable, but it doesn't feel cakey. It's definitely a very good quality concealer, especially for the price. It just comes with a little lip gloss applicator looking thing, and I will apply right around my eye like so. And I do like to go a little bit lighter with my concealer. I've said it before, but it'll just pop your eyes. It just makes you look more awake. So I'll do that. And I'll use my finger again to just dab that product, and I'll dab it in towards my eye. I don't ever want to get too close to my lash line because then it just looks unnatural because we don't have like white right up on there, but I will dab it in like this. And I'll drag that over my eyelid for the same reason that we have so many blood vessels and veins leading to our eyes, so it gets a little blue. It's normal, it's natural. Everyone thinks they're always so tired, which that's the case too, but it's also just very natural for your eyes to be a little bit darker around them. Another really great benefit to putting concealer on your eyelid is it will kind of act as a primer. So once you put this on, we can put a shadow over the concealer, and it will just act as a nice barrier for the eyeshadow to sit on, and it will prevent it from creasing, and it'll help it stay on for the rest of the day. Okay, so the next product we're gonna go in is, this is the NYX, this is the matte bronzer. I prefer to use matte bronzers when I'm using them as a contour because matte will absorb the light. Whenever you're contouring, you wanna push it in. So the absorption of the light will give it the illusion that it's being pushed in and gives you that nice cheekbone. If you use a bronzer that has a shimmer in it, that's gonna reflect the light and it's actually gonna push it out more. That's why you put highlighters like on the highs of your cheeks, on your nose, because you wanna make it pop and stand out. So this is not an area that you wanna pop and stand out. So I'm gonna be using a brush. This is a brush from Revlon. I love their synthetic brushes. They're so great. Like, luxury quality, but you can get it at a drugstore, no joke. So this one has like a little bit of like a contour-y shape, and it's gonna allow it to give it a nice line. So this is the NYX Matte Bronzer. I'm just gonna use a tiny bit of this. Another place I like to put bronzer is right up here. It just gives it a nice sun-kissed look, like you were out in the sun. And I'll do right down here on my chin. Okay, so now that I have my bronzer on, I'm gonna go in with this. This is the Maybelline Cheek Heat. This is gonna be like it's more of a jelly sheer cream blush. I like this one because as you'll see, it'll give it a nice highlighted look because it is gel based. So I squirt a little bit on my hand like this, and I'm gonna go in with my finger. Whenever I apply this, I'm gonna do right here on the apples of my cheeks. And it's very sheer, so it's just gonna give it a little bit of color. And this is number 30. This is a coral peachy tone. I like corals, especially if you have like blue eyes like I do, it just kind of pops it out. So this just helps with the glow of your skin. I can't take myself seriously with these donuts on my hair. Okay, so I have a little bit of cream blush on. I like to build my blush because I'm such a blush girl. So I'm gonna put just a little bit of powder over my cream, and it just kind of like builds and enhances it a little bit. This is the Revlon blush that I'm gonna be using. It's called Rose Bomb. It's really pretty because it has a little bit of shimmer to it as well. And so I'm gonna use the same brush that I use with my bronzer. And I just kind of dust on my cheeks. I'm gonna go back in with my foundation and just go around the nose, because sometimes when you apply blush, it'll get closer to your nose than you want it to. So I'll just go in like this, and I'll kind of like dust it over my blush. The highlighter I'm gonna use is from Revlon. This is Skinlights, and this is in Twilight Gleam. It's beautiful, and it has such a, let me show you if I can show you my finger. How gorgeous is that? So it's a really nice highlighter. I'm gonna use the same brush. I kind of wiped it off with some tissue. A little bit on my nose. I'm gonna dust a little bit under my eyebrow like this. Okay, now for the brows, this is a Revlon. This is the Color Stay Brow Pencil. This is in soft brown. I try not to do too much to my brows. I just like to fill in the little spots that it's missing. So I brush them up, and then I might put a little bit here because that's missing. I might do a little down here. Usually brush through my brows because I don't want them to get too thick or too makeup-y looking. Okay, so for my eyeshadow, look at this palette from Maybelline. This is a great palette because you have everything you need for multiple different eyeshadow looks. So you could do like a smoky eye, a natural eye, whatever you want to do. So like I was mentioning before, so I put the concealer on. I like to use a really light shade of eyeshadow across my entire lid. So I'm just going to go in with this guy. I'm not much of an eyeshadow person, so I'm probably not going to do too much exciting things, but another day I will. So that just neutralizes your eye and makes it all one nice color. And by putting a shadow like this over the concealer, now the concealer won't grab to, like if you use a darker color, you don't want to deposit that color directly onto a cream product because it will grab it. So this shadow will allow it to sit nicely on top of the powder rather than grabbing the concealer. So now that I have my eyes just neutralized, I think I'm gonna go in with this one. It's called Pioneer, but it's just like a light shimmer brown color. I'm just gonna dust that on my lid. And this brush that I'm using is another synthetic brush from Revlon. I really actually love these brushes. They're so great. And I'm just gonna dust this into my crease a little bit. And I just do windshield wiper motions back and forth in my crease. That will just lift this brown color up a little bit, and that will give it a nice, warm, soft effect. So there's a million other shadows that you could choose from to do this with, but that's all I'm doing. I'll do an eyeshadow video another day. Okay, and then for my mascara, I'm gonna use this one. It's called So Fierce from Revlon. It's a volumizing, extended mascara. This is the kind of brush that it is. So these are nice because it really does volumize your lashes nicely. when there's too many bristles in the brush, it's gonna be good for like lengthening, but it's not going to give it as much volume as a brush like this would. Okay, last but not least, I'm using the Ultra HD Vinyl Lip Polish from Revlon, and I swear I love these. I tell people about these. I actually really love these. I carry them in my purse. So they're great because they have great pigment and they have a gloss, so you don't need to use like liner. You can just throw this on. You don't need a mirror because you really can't mess it up. So this is what I put on, and this color that I'm using is Birthday Suit. It's number 925. I like this one because it's just very natural. It looks just like my lip color. The brush applicator allows you to like line your lips with it a little bit. Okay, we're done with our makeup. Now onto the hair. So I've let my donuts sit for a little bit, so I think it is time to take them down. I'm going to just start taking them down, and I hope it works. This is a good beach look because your hair just is all over the place. You can also sleep in them if you wanted to give it a nice bend, or if your hair was more wet. My hair is actually still a little damp, so I could have kept them in even longer. So you can just kind of shake it around, do whatever you want. It's not meant to look like you're going to prom or something. You're just kind of like, looks like you did something on a budget. That was the whole point, is to not use heat and to not use curling iron, so I gave you guys something. Obviously you can do this with braids. I just twisted it because I can't braid my own hair, go figure. So I hope you enjoy.